For the Young at Heart is sponsored by Duville Life and Wellness Community, a commitment to care, a legacy of compassion. This is Duville.
Hello, welcome to For the Young at Heart. I'm Lucille Jerome, and on today's program we're going to be taking a look at holiday meals, easy holiday meals to prepare. And my guest is Michael Lenzi. He has a catering business in Dracut, and he has his son working with him and his two granddaughters working with him. And when we move into the kitchen later on, they're going to be joining us. But first I want to introduce you to Mike. Thank you so much for coming today.
Oh, thank you, Lucille. It's a pleasure.
You have a beautiful place.
Thank you.
Okay. Tell me how long you've been in the business.
Well, I've been doing this for about 45 years.
Okay.
My father had a sandwich shop in downtown Lowell, which was originally the Pioneer. And we used to go down as when we were 9 years old and butter the hot dog rolls and
Okay.
whatever we could do, just like Amber and Haley be doing at 4 and 6 years old,
Okay.
as you'll see a little bit later.
All right then. So it's really a family heritage.
It
It's not
is.
just a family business, it's a family heritage.
Yeah, it is. You know, I started cooking at a young age. My grandmother, Mary Lenzi Sciripo, we used to go over to the house on East Merrimack Street and make spanakopita and homemade Italian meatballs, and
Oh my gosh.
and we loved it. You know, I loved it from the beginning, and been doing it ever since.
She was Italian?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, okay. My grandmother was from Sicily. My
Okay.
maternal grandmother was from Sicily. She used to make something called, and I know I'm going to mess this up, braciole, a flank steak
Right.
that she
right.
would pound very thin
Yeah.
and then fill it with something, I don't know what, and
Yeah.
roll it up.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
sounds familiar?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, there was, you know, we used to make all those kinds of things, and she made. Not only did we make spanakopita, we used to make the phyllo dough, which was a tedious process, and
Okay.
she used to make all her own pastas and for the soups and all the dishes for the holidays. So,
Okay.
yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. And did you nibble along the way as you were helping out?
Well, we used to grate the Pecorino Romano cheese, and there was always one chunk
Yeah.
left at the end that your fingers were too close to the grater, and we used to fight over the big
Okay.
piece that was left.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I understand you graduated from Johnson and Wales and that you teach at the vocational school?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
graduated in 1982 from Johnson & Wales and taught for 15 years at Greater Lowell Tech.
Oh, great little tech, sorry.
Yeah, great experience. And when Lenzi's, actually when we moved here to this location 13 years ago, that's when I left the vocational school grudgingly.
Grudgingly? Oh.
But my oldest son is out there now. He's a culinary instructor.
Okay.
And he's in the exact same position I was in back in the day.
So, how many children do you have?
6.
You have 6. How
Yes.
many of them are in this business?
Everybody's here on Mother's Day and Easter, and
Okay.
everybody has a role. From a couple of the boys do the tent and rental division, you know, sales, waitressing, supplements what they're doing full time. So
Okay.
everybody's got a little piece in
Okay.
in the business.
Okay. But like I said earlier, though, it doesn't sound like it's just a business. It sounds like part of a family heritage.
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
does.
No, I think
it really
that's
does. There's you mentioned you've been doing this for 45 plus years and you started very young. And I'm going to be meeting one of your sons later on, Miles,
Miles.
and he's also started at a very young age.
Miles went to Johnson & Wales, and he transferred to the Culinary Institute of America, and he's been with us as the full-time chef for, I would say, going on 3 years now.
Okay.
And he really is into it, is passionate about the kitchen and the food, and I've never seen him get upset. I've never seen him get mad, and he has the temperament for the business, and
Okay.
really a joy to be around.
So we're going to be moving into the kitchen shortly, and we're going to be cooking some easy-to-prepare meals
Yes.
for senior citizens that can do on their own, even though we know sometimes they don't want to cook for themselves.
Sure.
Right?
That's
but
right.
We're going to help them along here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so thank you.
Well, when they don't want to cook, they usually are down here dancing and having chicken pot pie. And,
There you go.
So
There
that's,
you go. So they're going to
always-
get it one way or the other.
Yeah,
There
always
you
a
go.
nice occasion.
Okay, all right
So.
then. Welcome back. We're now in the kitchen at Lenzi's, and in addition to Michael, we have 2 junior chefs. We have Haley, who's 4 years old, standing next to me, and we have her sister, Amber, who's 6 years old, standing next to her grandpa on the other side. And they're going to help him cook. Remember now, what we're going to do is we're going to do holiday meals that are easy to prepare, and they're going to help. I don't know that you want me to help. Trust me, I don't think you want me to help.
Oh, we can probably use all the help we can get here.
Okay, so,
But,
okay, so get going. Let's see what you can do.
All right.
Oh, boy.
What we did, we put together a little menu, and we're going to do today a beef tenderloin with a gorgonzola crust. And we're going to put it in the oven and hopefully be done by the time we finish cooking the other 3 items. But the crust is very simply some crushed Ritz crackers, and we're just going to blend them up nice and fine in the blender here. Behind me, I'm going to make a little bit of garlic butter. So we'll put that right there. We have some chopped garlic. Put that right on the stove.
It's already smelling good.
Oh, you can smell that garlic. Going to be a little bit of coarse ground black pepper, which always goes nice with the meat. You can use this crumb on a variety of different meats besides a tenderloin, a sirloin, or your favorite roast. And then we have a couple of handfuls of gorgonzola crumbled cheese. So pretty much the Ritz crumb, black pepper, gorgonzola crumbles, and then we're just going to moisten the crumbs with a little bit of garlic butter, and that'll help it toast up nice when we put it on top of the tenderloin. So Miles, do you have that tenderloin?
Oh, and here's another member of the family, his son Miles, who's 26 years old, I understand, and he's also been cooking since a very young age.
We start them very young around here, right, Haley? Right, Amber?
Okay.
Yeah?
They're ready.
Which one of you can tell me what mise en place is? Which one of you can tell me that? You? Tell me what that is.
Getting everything ready, all the ingredients.
Getting it all ready? Everything? Everything? Really? Okay. All right, thank
All the
you.
ingredients and all the equipment, right?
Oh, and all the equipment too. Okay.
So,
That makes it very easy then, doesn't it?
yep. So we're just going to take this mixture, and we're going to put a little bit of olive oil over the tenderloin, just to moisten a little bit. Help that crumb stick to it just a tiny bit.
Oh, it does smell good.
Just a little more butter for our crumb. And then we just take the mixture and we put it right over the top of the tenderloin. We put this in an oven at 400 degrees till it gets to about 100 degrees internal temperature. And then we're going to put it in a slow roasting oven just to finish it off, bring it up to about 120. It should be a nice medium rare tenderloin. So there we go. I'll just chuck that right in the oven for us. Now I'm going to wash my hands, girls.
Oh, now he's washing his hands. Is that something you do too when you help him out? Okay, very important, huh?
Okay. The next thing we're going to put together to accompany our tenderloin is a roasted butternut squash casserole. And we just took some peeled butternut squash and cubed it about this size because it's going to shrink up a little bit when we cook it, and the ingredients are going to caramelize and make for a nice sweet vegetable. So with the squash, we put a little bit of brown sugar.
I like the way you measure things. A little bit of this and a pinch of that. Reminds me of how my grandparents cooked.
That's pretty much how Graham Lenzi was.
Yeah.
A little bit of nutmeg,
Yeah.
a hint of clove. 'Tis the season for clove.
That's right.
Just a little bit.
Oh,
A
good.
little salt. And I always like the coarse ground black pepper. Just a little more flavor. And a little bit of cinnamon. Just a little sprinkle.
Smells good, doesn't it, Haley?
All right?
Smells like cinnamon.
Yeah.
He does. And then we'll add a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter. And that will help our vegetables caramelize.
This is very easy so far, really. I mean, these are ingredients that everybody has. A little cloves, some, garlic.
Yep, all those ingredients are on the shelf. You want to mix that up for me, Haley, a little bit? Amber, you want to mix that up for me? Oh, you want to get dirty today?
No, I have boo boo.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we'll put this,
I took the
and then we just take these ingredients and put them in a pan. A little bit of that crumb. And we're going to roast that off at about 325 degrees. We're going to put a little, some pearl onions. And then when we pull it out and all the vegetables are caramelized, we're going to garnish it with some green peas over the top for color.
Okay.
So we'll put that over. That's our vegetable.
Are you gonna need this again?
The cinnamon, yeah, I'm going to need that for the dessert.
Okay. I'm gonna put that over here temporarily.
Sure. And our dessert, what would our dinner be without a little dessert at the end?
Or a lot.
We're going to make a little Vermont apple crisp. And the Vermont apple crisp is very simply, whoops, excuse me, some apples, and you can use just about any kind of apple that you like and peel them down. And what makes it Vermont apple crisp will be a little pancake syrup. And then we'll put a little pinch of cinnamon. Can you put a little pinch of cinnamon right into the apples? Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a tiny bit more. And then we're just gonna toss the apples in the maple syrup and the cinnamon. And we'll put it
good.
in our
It looks like meat.
Smells good. It looks
our
good, doesn't
favorite
it?
casserole dish. Of course, we do things in bulk here. You can do this a little smaller, minute
How many
portions.
apples? How many apples were you using for that?
Uh,
About.
That would be the equivalent of probably 10 apples. If
Okay.
you cut them up and
Okay.
peel them.
But at
And then-
home, someone could adapt this to maybe 4 or 5 apples if they were alone.
Sure. Yep.
Easy, really
Yep,
easy.
just
Okay.
adapt your ingredients. And then the topping is just, we use butter, and we take flour, and we just knead it together a little bit.
Wow. Do you ever help your grandpa do that with the butter? No?
Stick your hands in there.
Okay.
So we'll knead that till the butter is kind of blended with the flour. And you can soften up your butter ahead of time. You can put it in the microwave for 30 seconds and don't melt it, but just have it in condition where it's easy to work with. All right, then once you got it mixed a little bit, you can add your brown sugar. We use a pound here. And we continue to knead it so we get to a crumb. And then we're going to put a little bit more cinnamon in here. And our last ingredient will be some chopped walnuts. And that'll give it a nice crisp.
Oh boy, do you girls want your grandpa to hug you right now?
Shake hands?
No. No doing me.
Sure.
No, some cookies.
Good job. So, Miles, did we have some walnuts that we could just fold in? We'll just put them through the blender. And so we got a nice crumb. The butter is incorporated into the sugar and the flour. And we'll just cover the top. I don't think you are. But, of course, you always have to let people know what the ingredients are in case they do have an allergy. So that's a good point.
Good for you, Haley.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Our walnuts. And we're ready to top off our apple crisp.
So it's
So
really
you-
only 4 ingredients: flour, sugar, cinnamon, and nuts.
That's
and
it.
butter. Five ingredients.
Yep,
That's
5
it.
ingredients.
Okay.
And if
My
you
kind of
girls could
recipe.
just sprinkle this over the top. All right, put it nice and even. That'll be great. Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Sprinkle that right over
Good
the top.
job.
I'm
Whoops.
already dirty.
Well, that's okay. We'll wash our hands again after we're all done. Go ahead, take big handfuls and put it right over the top. And put that right up. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I've never got my jacket dirty, and
I know.
well, you're gonna have to get it dirty.
You will. Okay?
Oh boy, look at this. Now that's really making sure everything's covered.
How's that? All right, so there's your very simple Vermont apple crisp.
I see one lonely little apple over here that doesn't have anything. Oh, there. Oh, I didn't see that one.
Okay, we'll take this and put this in a 325-degree oven
Okay.
for about 45 minutes. And we'll have our dessert all set to go. Okay. All
Yum.
right, the last ingredient or the last item on our menu today was just a basic mashed potato. And we whipped them up and we added some horseradish to it when we were all done to give it a nice horseradish flavor to complement the steak or the tenderloin and with the vegetable. And then our apple crisp will take a little while. So we'll put that together on a plate here in a second.
Okay, we're back and we're going to be taking, not we, he is going to be taking the roast out of the oven. And as you can see, we already have some things set up. Smells good in here, let me tell you.
Okay.
I'm trying to get burned. I already got burned twice.
So we got a nice color. You better be careful. We don't want to make it 3 times.
Making
Yeah.
pancakes and touching my life.
I know.
Ow. On the boat and
So we got nice color to
how does that not hurt you?
our gorgonzola crumb. Put that over there so nobody gets burnt. And then it's always good to let your roast sit for a little bit and bleed out a little bit, but
Bleed
we'll,
out, I never heard that. What does bleed
yeah,
out
you'll
mean?
see that if this sits for a little while, the juices will start to accumulate around the roast, and
Okay.
you certainly can reserve those juices and fold them into your gravy or
Okay.
your sauce and use them for however you like. But this is still pretty hot, so. And we would just kind of fan them out like that. Get a little bit of the crumb. Make sure we get a little bit of the crumb on all the slices. And
Oh, I see that.
voila, we have our
Voila.
beef encrusted, gorgonzola encrusted tenderloin with a butternut squash with pearl onions and peas. And this is a whipped potato with horseradish in it. I think it'd be a nice meal for 2 for during the holidays.
Very nice meal for 2 during the holidays. And even if someone doesn't have that little thing to make the potatoes so beautiful, it still works,
Oh,
right?
sure, yeah, just, you put your potatoes on there, we just
There you
use
go.
a piping
Yeah,
bag, and,
yeah.
the other thing you can do is you can do the potatoes ahead of time, and then put them in the oven just like that, and take a spatula, and, scoop them off of the pan and put them on there for a little more decoration and presentation.
I just thought of a question. Suppose someone doesn't have one of those. They can make something. They can make it at home out of something, right? Like
They-
fold a paper plate around or something to squeeze things or...
We've used wax paper.
Wax
We just
paper?
roll up the wax
There you go.
paper, and you can make a little funnel. But if you have a pastry tube,
Yep.
you can put it right in the bottom of the wax paper and pipe your potatoes. Or sometimes we do a puree of squash where you could do the same thing.
There you go.
Puree of cauliflower, anything like that.
Okay.
So it all works.
Well, I'm just so pleased about all of this, and I know our audience is going to be pleased about this, and the recipes are very, very easy.
Yeah.
Very, very easy. And
Close
see,
on.
nothing burnt because I wasn't there helping you. Okay? And the girls, and Haley's gone for a little bit, but she might be back. We'll have to wait and see. Okay? Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
You're very welcome,
Okay.
Lucille, and we'll get a
Okay.
couple of scoops of vanilla ice cream, and we'll top off the Vermont apple crisp.
Oh, yes.
Why don't you have a little taste there and see if it
May I?
meets up to your...
May I?
I think we did all right.
Delicious. Delicious.
Yeah. A little bit of crisp?
Hot?
No?
No, no, it's very, very good. The apples are delicious and
There
the
we go.
topping is delicious. Yum,
There we go.
yum, yum. Wow, the magic of television.
The
The
mag-
magic of television. Everything is so prepared. Thank you so much. What tricks of the trade do you have for everyday people about cooking and maybe cleaning up after? I mean, what tricks of the trade do you have?
Well, I think, we do things in certainly a lot bigger portions than the average person cooking in the kitchen, but certainly clean as you go and keep things organized, and makes things a lot easier in the kitchen. So, and like the girls said initially, mise en place,
That's right.
which is sometimes you start to make something and you realize you don't have an ingredient or things like that. So it's good to lay everything out, make sure you have all the ingredients and all the equipment that you need, and then a little less running around, and keeps you organized and on task. So
I like that phrase, but keeping on task so that you're not getting distracted by other things in the
Right.
kitchen. You've got everything where you need it and you can just move right through it.
exactly.
Okay.
And that's what we do. We make things that we use a lot of, you make a lot of those, during the week so that you don't make it each time you're making a particular dish. If it's something that you use in 3 different dishes or
Right.
things like that. So organizations is as big a part of things as knowing how to cook and preparing your different dishes.
So this makes a very nice meal for the holiday.
Yeah,
Very nice meal for the holiday.
we just
Or
added,
every day, actually. They can wrap
yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
Like, freeze it.
Absolutely,
They can freeze it,
absolutely.
right, if they don't. Thank you. I want to thank you for watching. And we're going to be eating pretty soon, so the cameras are going to be going off. But I want to thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, this is Lucille Jerome and Fathering at Heart with my guest, Michael Lenzi. And the two little ones are gone off to play.
For the Young at Heart is sponsored by Duville Life and Wellness Community, a commitment to care, a legacy of compassion.